Clerk will call the roll.
Glenn Whitley, County Judge.
Here.
Roy Charles Brooks, Commissioner, Precinct 1.
Present.
Devin Allen, Commissioner, Precinct 2. Here. Gary Fickus, Commissioner, Precinct 3.
Here.
J.D. Johnson, Commissioner, Precinct 4.
Here.
Constitutes a quorum.
We certainly want to take this opportunity to welcome our new Commissioner, Commissioner Allen. Welcome to the court.
Thank you.
Our invocation today will be delivered by Reverend Jason Valindi from Saginaw United Methodist Church. After the invocation, please remain standing for our pledges. Thank you again very much for coming out today.
Judge, fellow commissioners, thank you so much for the opportunity. I have the opportunity to go to court occasionally, and I can tell you I am very proud to be a resident of Tarrant County. Your employees and the entire county are just very hospitable, and I hope that I share in your pride. And so I invite you to join me in the Wesleyan Covenant Prayer, a prayer that in my denomination we pray at the beginning of each year. And so I'll modify it slightly to reflect the collective. We are no longer our own, but yours. Put us to what you will, O Lord. Place us with whom you will. Put us to doing, put us to suffering. Let us be employed for you or set aside for you. Let us be praised for you or criticized for you. Let us be full, let us be empty. Let us have all things, let us have nothing. For we freely and fully surrender all things to your glory and service. And now, O wonderful and holy God, Creator, Redeemer, Sustainer, you are mine and I am yours. So be it. And may this covenant which we have made on earth, may it be also be made in heaven. Amen. Amen. Thank you very much.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Again, thank you, Reverend, for coming out today. Mr. Manius.
Thank you, Your Honor. Members of the Court, we have two announcements today. On the first one is under the Purchasing Department, item 8K5. This is bid number 2019-047. We're going to hold that item. And finally, members of the Court, under the briefing agenda, there is a substitution or revised briefing that will be under item 11B, which is the County Clerks Get Healthy Initiative 2018.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Court members, you have before you the minutes of our regular meeting of December the 11th.
Move approval. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. We have a minutes of our regular meeting of December the 27th.
Move approval. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Under Proclamations and Resolutions, Commissioner Brooks, I believe you have a resolution.
Yes, for ratification, Your Honor. During the holidays, we lost a beloved and honorable citizen of Tarrant County, Mr. Reeve Carey. I ask ratification of the memorial resolution already presented. That's a motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. We now come to our once a month our employee recognition, and for our new commissioner as well as for the folks here for the 5 years, this is my opportunity to embarrass myself and mispronounce your names, and there's some real doozies this month. But the way we go through this is we'll start off at the 5-year. I'll call your name or what sounds like your name. And if you know where you are in the alphabet, so if it's your turn, stand up, even if it doesn't really sound too much like your name. We'll go through all of the 5, and then we'll thank you, and then we'll move on from there to the next group. So beginning with our 5-year employees, first is Mary Bell with the Sheriff's Department. Montrell Bowler, Precinct 1. Charles Bramlett, Precinct 1. Patrick Burnett, Precinct 4. David Conway, Sheriff's Department. Lila DeLego, Sheriff's Department. Thank you. I was beginning to wonder. Rebecca Gutierrez, Sheriff's Department. Pamela Maples, District Clerk's Office. Shayla Moses, Information Technology. Daniel Munez, Sheriff's Department. Patrick Navarro, Sheriff's Department. Christine Nieves Medina, Sheriff's Department. Prasanna Pillai, Information Technology. There he is. Alexander Ray, Criminal Court Administration. Richard Schiller. This is his 3rd or 4th time to have 5 years with the county. He's actually got 12 years with the county. He had 5 under when I was commissioner in Precinct 3, and then I guess he's got 5 with you, and because we subtract away the time away, he now has 5 instead of 12.
I think he's got 3. I think he's got 3 retirements with tech stock.
He just keeps going back and forth, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Brian Sudin, Sheriff's Department, and Larry Vermillion, Precinct 3. Let's give these 5-year employees. Now for our 10-year employees, Tammy Barnes, the 213th District Court. Here she is, thank you. Michael Barnett, Sheriff's Department. Rochelle Chavez, County Clerk. Dominga Garcia, Precinct 1. Calvin Jennings, Precinct 1. Delilah Lopez, Housing. Alan Ludwig, Information Technology. William Mayer, Second Court of Appeals. Eric Metcalf, Information Technology. Leanne Moore, 231st District Court. Kathy Newton, County Clerk. Isaac Sanmiego, Domestic Relations Office. Adolphus Taylor, Precinct 1. Nicolette Watkins, Juvenile Services. And Melanie Wilkerson, Judge, the 17th District Court. Welcome these 10 year employees. Now for our 15-year employees. Joseph Aguiman, Sheriff's Department. Kathleen Guyton, Criminal District Attorney's Office. Susan Howell, Medical Examiner. Carol Latkins, District Clerk. Wesley Loudon, Sheriff's Department. Miss T, Sheriff's Department. Okay, is Miss T here? All right.
There she is.
Just a second. Pronounce it.
He got it. He got it. Hey!
Miss T, thank you for showing up here tonight. These are our 15-year employees. Thank you very much. for our 20-year employees, Keith Barrett, Sheriff's Department. Arcelia Castanana, Public Health. Yeah, she stood up because she knew that's where she was in the alphabet.
That's right.
Carl Cole, County Clerk's Office. Vincent Dotson, Juvenile Services. Michael Ford, Sheriff's Department. Diane Haddock, Associate Judge of the 233rd Family Court. Cynthia Johnson, Sheriff's Department. Tracy Kirby, Sheriff's Department. Eric Martinez, Sheriff's Department. Morsi May, Information Technology. Jason Pricer, Tax Office. Michelle Sanders, Criminal District Attorney's Office. Chad Seals, Sheriff's Department. Susan Strange, Facilities Management. And Yvette Wingate, Public Health. Here are our 20-year employees. Now for our 25 plus, I call and have an opportunity to speak with these folks. Our first, and she wasn't sure she was going to be able to make it, but our first is Brenda Clark. Is Brenda here? Brenda is the court reporter in Judge Westfall's court and knew that she had a case today and really didn't think she was going to be able to make it. But I had an opportunity to congratulate her on her 25 years. One of the comments that we made, I asked folks what they liked most, and she says, you know, I really like sitting in the middle of the courtroom and just watching human behavior. And I had never heard it quite portrayed that way. But through the next couple of days, if you see Brenda, please congratulate her on her 25 years of service to Tarrant County. There you go. Next is Helena Faulkner with the Criminal District Attorney's Office post-conviction, 25 years, but she also was not going to be able to make it today. Next is Bobby Harden. There's Captain Harden. Started out in the Sheriff's Department part-time as a bailiff, then went full-time as a deputy in courts, worked around the courts area for around 18 years, then went to work as Judge Hardy's bailiff, court bailiff. And then when Sheriff Wayburn came on board, he hired him as captain over the court's security, labor detail, as well as the bike patrol. When I asked him what memorable moments, he said Bobby served for 12 years, I guess, as the president of the association, Deputy Association, Law Enforcement Association, and he said it was the opportunity to work with folks on this court as well as other folks in our county to address law enforcement issues. He said, I like the security and the benefits. He said, I really enjoy helping people and helping the citizens as they come through the court system, feeling like I'm hopefully making a difference. He said, I just love the folks that I've had a chance to work with over the years. Bobby, we appreciate very much the 25 years you've given to Tarrant County. Next is Rosalind Wiley, Pretrial Services. There's Rosalind back there. She started off in the Sheriff's Department, worked a while as a jailer and as a peace officer, and then went into the pretrial area. Has worked there since that time. We're kind of in a state of flux in case of state of limbo right now with where and how pretrial release is going to meld in with some of the other things that are going on. When I asked her about memorable moments, she said it was a lot of the programs that the county offered and let employees be a part of. It was the pen pal, it was the fitness programs. When I asked her what she liked most, again, it was the stability. And she said, I have met people over the years here with Tarrant County that have built lifelong relationships. when I talked with her about 5 years ago, she said, I'm beginning to look forward to retirement, but not too soon. She says, I love getting the chance to help a lot of people. When I talked to her just recently, again, with all the limbo, she says, I'm not sure kind of what's happening with the department and where we're going to go. She said, I'll have to say I'm beginning to look a little bit more toward that retirement. Would like to be able to do some traveling. Has thought about doing some foster parenting, and I think that's just great because there's such a need for foster parents in our community. Rosalind, we really appreciate very much the 30 years of service you've given to Tarrant County. Thank you. Next is Ann Diamond, 35 years of service for Tarrant County. Ann started in the civil area. Marvin Collins was the chief. When I asked her about memorable moments, she said, well, most of them are attorney-client privilege, and I can't tell you about it. That's not quite the same as some of the times that I will get laughs from people saying, well, I'd love to be able to tell you, but I really can't because I can't afford for you to tell what I might be going to tell you. When I asked her what she liked most, it was the great people both within the department that she's had a chance to work with, as well as people throughout the county and throughout the public. Ann has been very involved in the community. She's a past president of the Tarrant County Bar Association. She said it was really a pleasure working with the court, or at least some of them, and maybe even sometimes me. But I know I have my challenges, and that's not her words, that's mine. She said every day is different, and every day it's a little unpredictable. And she said we've seen over the years 3 DAs, seen a lot of changes, but everybody has had a great team, and everybody has put together a great team, and everyone has a tremendous amount of passion in wanting to contribute in a meaningful way to not only the Tarrant County family, but really to the Tarrant County community. And thank you very much for the 35 years of service you've given. Next is Don Harris, 35 years with the sheriff. Raise your hand. Now, Don, 35 years. Don actually retired the very, very end of 2018, but we wanted to bring him here and recognize him and thank him for the 35 years of service that he has given to Tarrant County. He's been in the operations side the full 35 years. He's been in the narcotics area. He's been with the CID area, started in patrol, was I think the first paid permanent sergeant position in the narcotics area, worked as a supervisor in HIDA, watch commander. He was, he's been in service to the community from day one. He was a drill instructor in the Marine Corps. His kids are grown up, but he said, I have really enjoyed the county, and it's been a great place to work. And Don, we appreciate very much the 35 years you gave to Tarrant County. Thank you. Our last employee we're going to recognize today is Jim Masolis. There's Jim. Hey. There you go. 35 years. Started in the patrol division, worked the release desk, classification, has been in grievance and disciplinary areas, is now in County Court of Law number 1. He said, I just love the long and the steady work, the benefits that the county offers. He indicated he never thought he'd really be here that long. He has a daughter that flies or flew Black Hawk helicopters, probably still can fly them. Did a tour in Iraq, received a Bronze Star. So she's now back, and I guess is back in school. She's retired and is now back in school getting her second master's. He said, 5 years ago when I talked with him, he says, I seem to be growing older and wiser. And at that point in time, he was, the 20th of this month, he was celebrating his 46th. And so this month, I asked him, I said, your wife hadn't traded you in for a newer model? And he said, no, she just about got me trained. But this month, on the 20th of this month, he'll be celebrating his 51st wedding anniversary. So he's now the bailiff in County Court at Law Number 1. And Jim, we want to thank you for the 35 years of service you've given to Tarrant County. Thank you very, very much. This represents 835 years of service. And if you add the 7 that we took away from Schiller, then that means it's about over 840 years of service. The county would not be what it is today without the passion and dedication that each one of you take into your work on a daily basis. And I truly believe, and I see that time and time again, I hear about it time and time again, as people come forward and we'll talk about a relationship, something that happened when they came in to do business with the county. Thank you, because you're what makes Tarrant County a great place to live, to raise a family, and to do business.
Right.
Refreshments, 504C. Wilder's already back there, so you might want to get back there pretty quick. But again, thank you all very much. Ready? I'll move that we receive and file the employee recognition. We have a motion second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. You have before you the consent agenda.
Move approval of consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion second to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Mr. Manius?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Schaffner is going to do item number 1. This is our legislative agenda, and just some housekeeping issues as it relates to that. First of all, we have 10 items that we would like to bring for you for your consideration. You might recall that the Commissioners Court has a policy that if the county is going to support any of these positions, that it requires a unanimous vote from all 5 members of the Commissioners Court. Also, I'd ask Mr. Schaffner to go through all 10 of them. If you'd like to vote on them one at a time, that's fine. Or if you'd like to take all 10 of them at the very end, that's whatever you would like to do. Russell.
Good morning.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. We have for you today, as Mr. Manius stated, 10 legislative items at the first round of our legislative program. This will change as we go through the session, as other issues are brought up, bills are filed, and just as we take the temperatures of the session as it starts. They will gavel in today at noon. to begin their 140 days of excitement, to say the very least. So with our 10 items, first off is opposition to revenue caps on local governments. We've been working with a number of different stakeholders in Austin, including the governor's office, and Judge, you and some of the commissioners have worked on this as well. But again, opposition to revenue caps on local government. The second one is support for property tax exemption. Expresses a dollar amount of market value of a residential homestead. So instead of a percentage, such as 10%, 20%, this would be an actual dollar amount. So as an example, if you have someone with a $100,000 home, you could give them a $10,000 exemption, and then someone with $1 million home would also get that $10,000 exemption. And then there are several folks that are looking at filing that bill currently. Support for local decision-making authority. This is a major theme currently with our state legislature of how much decision-making authority they want the locals to have, and we're going to come out in support of maintaining what we have, if not some more in the end. Support for transportation improvements and funding. This is a very significant issue in the Comptroller's biennial revenue estimate that he released yesterday. We'll have a significant amount of Proposition 1 funding that'll be transferred over to the Highway Fund. We did not make it, however, for Prop 7 on additional funding through the motor vehicle sales tax. That's supposed to hit $5 billion, and we get what's over $5 billion for transportation. It's just not going to quite hit that yet. So that's another issue. And with the transportation improvements funding, one of the big issues we're going to be talking about is the LIP program. It used to be LIRAP, which is Low Income Vehicle Repair Program. That was line item vetoed by the governor. Funding for that was in the 85th session. Tarrant County registrants, so Commissioner's Court was assessing a $6 fee off of vehicles until the summer of 2017 when y'all voted to suspend. But Tarrant County registrants have $25.8 million sitting in Fund 5, Clean Air Account 151, in Austin that has no way of coming back to us. So that's part of the $5.5 billion that the state is holding of dedicated revenue accounts in order to balance their budget. So that's one of the issues we're going to be working very hard on. Opposition to unfunded and underfunded mandates. This is a biennial issue that we bring back every time, and very significant to our Commissioner's Court as well as others, making sure that any of those unfunded mandates that come from the state, that we're going to oppose them because they need to have a revenue stream attached to them, whether it's state funding or other opportunities. Support for improvements and innovations in the mental health care system. Senator Nelson, or Chairman Nelson, stated a few months ago at an event that number one for her, she's chairman of Senate Finance, is passing the budget. Number two is bettering the mental health care system and finding more funding for it. That's something I think we can hope that the Commissioner's Court can get behind, of bettering our mental health care system and looking at what it needs to be in the next several years as the 1115 waiver potentially starts to wane, and other funding options that need to come through that.
I hope that you will find that topic description sufficiently broad to encompass all mental health issues, so that we don't have to come back and consider them all individually.
I should have stated that, Commissioner. I appreciate you bringing that forward, that all of these particular issues, well, the majority of the issues that we have here are worded in a way where it can be all-encompassing as issues come up, especially mental health care, local decision-making authority, several of those, to where as these issues bubble up, Commissioner's Court will have a position on those issues that we can then go and work on. But no, I view this particular one as being very broad and all-encompassing of mental health care and mental health delivery systems.
Thank you, Russell.
Something from the clerks, the support for the extension of the records archive fee. That program that the county clerk and the district clerk have been working on still needs some more time. The extension of that record archiving fee ends in 2019. So needing to extend that out so we still have that continued revenue stream to be able to do the great work that they're doing. Support for the extension of the Property Redevelopment and Tax Abatement Act. These are Chapter 312 and 313 tax abatements. The authority to enter into those expires August 31st of 2019, so that's something that we're going to be going down and arguing for to extend. Support for full state funding of indigent defense. Again, another perennial issue that we keep bringing back. In 2017, Tarrant County taxpayers' cost of indigent defense was 3.89% of their county property tax bill went to indigent defense costs. The state paid 11%, a little over $2 million of the actual cost, and our taxpayers were burdened with the rest of that. And then support for permissive Commissioners Court authority. Commissioners Court and counties in general are only given the authority given to them by the legislature explicitly. In statute, it has to be there. This is a kind of a catch-all commissioner. Any option that's out there that allows the Commissioners Court to have more local decision-making authority to make decisions that are tailored to y'all's community, to our community and others, we're going to support through this item. So with that, just another quick couple items regarding the state or the Comptroller's biennial revenue estimate. The state's funding that's available to be spent is going to increase by 8.1%. So it'll be about $119.1 billion is the state's funding, portion of the state tax funding, tax and fee funding, that'll be available to be spent in the next biennium. That's a significant amount.
That's an increase of how much?
8.1% over
$3 billion. Is that like?
That's,
$12 billion.
Okay.
So in the Legislative Budget Board on Friday will vote on what the spending cap will be. So I think we're all looking forward to finding out what the state legislature is going to set that cap at. It's my understanding that based on population and CPI and all the different issues that go into that cap, it can be potentially north of 10% increase over last year's budget. But we'll be following that closely, and I'll get that information out to y'all whenever we're ready. So any questions or comments?
The economics, rainy day fund.
Yes, sir.
What is that actually called? The economic
Stabilization Fund.
Okay. What is that? What are they given a number on what that will top out at?
Yes, sir. After the 2021 biennium, the Comptroller has stated that it'll be $15.4 billion.
And that's after Proposition 1?
Yes, sir. After Proposition 1 is the funding, severance tax revenue is split from Prop 1. So it'll be $15.4 billion.
Won't that be reduced by the special appropriations, the reconciling number that has to be done at the beginning of the budget session?
Yes, sir. The supplemental appropriations bill, which one of the first bills that the legislature will do, the Comptroller said that he upped the amount that they have to spend for that, and that's $4.18 billion is what they've got available for that supplemental appropriation. Anything above that, we'll have to find other revenue sources, and that is a potential.
But now what I've heard is that it may not be as much as what they originally thought it was going to be, so they may not go over that $4 billion.
That's a potential. The general number they penciled in for Harvey is about $1 billion that they're going to need. That's a one-time appropriation, so that could potentially be eligible to come out of the rainy day fund, and then they would have cash carry forward for the next session. So we'll see what they end up doing. There's a lot of discussion on Harvey and emergency response, of course, that we're going to be right in the middle of during the session.
Well, with an 8.1% increase in revenues and a projected 10% increase in expenditures, that difference has to come from somewhere.
Well, in the 10% number would be the spending cap, that it's potentially north of 10% is what's available. So the state has a great number of needs, whether we get into school finance and just the cost to get into that discussion is immense. So we'll just kind of have to see where that goes, but we'll track it very closely and make sure y'all are aware of those discussions.
I guess one of the things that I would do and I would like to say is I would encourage each of the other association groups, we've got clerks, we've got tax assessors, we've got sheriffs, DAs, to consider pushing the same resolution with regards to unfunded mandates, with regards to tax caps and things along that lines. The 2.5%, which the governor has floated out as kind of the starting point in their discussion, there's a lot of questions as to whether or not that includes or exempts public safety. If you read through it, it appears as though that is included in the 2.5%. And it talks about the fact that you can have an election to exceed the 2.5%. But again, the devil will be in the details. And if you look at what's been written to this point, even if you go forward with an election, you can only increase it by a percentage that equates to state growth and inflation, which is probably going to be somewhere going to be very low. It'll be below what our growth has been in Tarrant County, certainly. And so even with the vote, you can't go over that particular amount. And even if they were to come back and say, no, we're going to totally exempt public safety and those types of things, I, for one, and this is just me speaking, would say that we're a team. Tarrant County is a team. And that if a 2.5% cap applies to one group, it's going to apply to all groups. And that nobody is going to, well, we're exempt, so we don't need to worry about what's going to happen in Austin. So I would strongly hope that each one of you, other elected officials and or groups and associations, would put forth an effort to come out in opposition to these revenue and or appraisal caps. I truly believe that those are local decisions that should be made by local elected officials. And that if our community chooses to do things like an intimate partner violence unit, crimes against the elderly, courtesy patrols, we pay to the state each and every year enough money to hire 41 additional CPS workers. We pay their salary, we pay their benefits, the state employs them. And those are decisions that we choose to do here locally. And I don't want the state basically precluding me or this court from having the ability to make some of those decisions. And so I hope that each one of you not only will talk to your associations, but I hope that you will also make it a point to contact and to talk with your legislators, whether they be representatives and or senators, and express to them that we want to be able to make those decisions, to create those units, to do those things that with a 2.5% cap, the salary increases we have given historically in Tarrant County have been a 3% pool that are then merited out based upon our departments. It doesn't even take into account the increased cost in medical and other things that we've had. So don't just sit on the sidelines as we begin this debate and begin this discussion. We really need to be a part and to be active in that as we go forward. Now, we can take these individually, or if there's no one that objects, then I would suggest that we might approve all of them at the same time.
Now so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other comments or suggestions or discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you
Good
very
luck.
much.
We'll
Thank
be
you,
there
sir.
with you.
Let me raise this mic a little bit so I can.
Yeah, you're going to have a problem there. Mendez was about your height. Russell's going to raise the bar a little bit.
He may raise the mic. I don't know about the bar. Thank you for the slow pitch right across the middle of the plate.
There you go.
Honor, we have two additional items for the court's consideration. On item A2, we're requesting that the court concur with the actions of the Hospital District Board of Managers and approve a construction contract between Hutchinson Construction and the district to build out an existing shell space for 12 additional treatment rooms.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? I guess the only discussion that I'll have, and I know it kind of goes back to this whole, the public just gave us an opportunity to spend $1.2 billion over the next several years, and I know that this was something that's been underway for a long time, but I just hope that we really begin to look at all capital improvements, even if it was not specifically set out within that bond proposal, that we really look at making sure that we coordinate everything that's going on in the way of construction, facility improvements as we go forward with that deal. And I know that Mr. Early is out there and is hearing that, so that's the only comment that I would make about this. Any other discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Members of the court, on item number 3, we're requesting that the court accept a monetary donation from Mr. Webb in the amount of $1,600 for the Children's Home Trust. Before you do that, normally you would see something like this on a consent agenda. But there was a letter that Mr. Spencer Webb had written, and when he made the donation, and if you just allow me to read that, because I think it's very special. This is addressed to the Tarrant County Commissioners Court. Ladies and gentlemen, enclosed is a check for $1,600 and no cents made out to the Tarrant County Children's Fund. Understand the fund is to benefit children in county custody for whatever reason. I wish to donate to this fund. I have left employment with Walmart. Now I am delivering Domino's for the Mark of Excellence Pizza Company. This money comes from tips paid to me by our customers in Bedford, Euless, Hurst, North Richland Hills, and Colleyville. Please see that this money gets into the correct routing. Tell everyone I wish a Merry Christmas to all.
Wonderful.
Fabulous. We're requesting approval.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please
With our
vote.
profound thanks to Mr. Webb.
Yes, please do that. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Tidwell.
We have one item that we're asking the court to consider this morning, and that is to receive and file the quarterly investment report for the period ended September 30th, 2018.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Well, this is a change. Welcome to the place, to the spot. Helen, we're excited about you starting and beginning this position as interim. I know that we'll be, going forward, but certainly we appreciate all the hard work you've done in the past, and we know you've got a lot of work ahead of you and some big shoes.
Big shoes.
Big shoes to fill.
Thank you. The Budget and Risk Management is seeking approval for a payment of $6,348.52 for full and final payment to Masolis for damages to her vehicle.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Glenn.
Move to receive and file personnel.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you and good morning.
Morning.
We have a few more items. Actually, the next 3 items are all waivers. The first from Constable Precinct 6, Constable Siegel, is requesting a waiver of 74 vacation hours, effective, actually retroactive, to December the 27th. at a cost, this is tipping, at a cost to the general fund of a little bit more than $3,200, including fringe benefits.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. So let me ask you a question. How many hours?
74 vacation hours. And this, again, it's retroactive to 12/27.
So hasn't he already pretty much spent all of it?
I believe the position was, where's Ann? Oh, there she is. Was the position already filled? Yes. This
So
is
in effect, if we
Constable
don't
6.
approve this, what happens?
We have a problem. This was one that, of course, we didn't, since we only had our special court session in December, I guess this one must have missed the deadline for it. So
Okay.
the only alternative we had was to put it on the earliest court session possible, which is today.
Okay. I would hope that we won't have problems in the future.
Yes,
I mean,
I concur.
just because that really doesn't give us an opportunity to.
Correct. It does not.
Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. The next waiver is from Judge Mumford. He's requesting a waiver of 272 vacation hours effective 1/9 at a estimated cost to the general fund of approximately $23,600. That does include fringe benefits. And this is for the associate judge's position, which he vacated to become the judge.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. And again, in this situation, I mean, we get terminal benefit waivers up here frequently. A lot of folks go forward and they don't do that. I mean, they run
They
that
wait.
time out. In this situation, I know that there's just one associate judge. And so with those number of hours, it would mean that he would be
You have to
without
wait.
for some period of time.
Correct.
But I hope that we'll try as much as possible to work through that waiver.
We do.
Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
And our last waiver, this one comes to us from newly elected Judge Alex Kim. He's requesting a waiver of 352 vacation hours, effective 1/9 at a cost to the general fund of approximately $30,600. That does include fringe benefits.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. And I'm going to make the same statement, but I'm going to make it a little bit differently here. And we'll probably go forward and vote for it, but how many associate judges does Judge Kim have?
I believe 2, 3,
3.
3.
And so in effect, he's at least got 2 other folks who could help him carry the load through this 8 to 9 weeks prior to that happening. And because I did not have an opportunity to really sit down and talk with Judge Kim about, I'm going to go ahead and support this, but I really think we ought to begin looking at that a little bit more closely, and if there are other positions that can help carry that load, then I would prefer us not to be doing that.
And Judge Whitley, we typically have that conversation, whether it's, the district courts or any other department. And so we only bring those requests to you where we've been told we are requesting this additional resource.
So you had the conversation with Judge Kim, and he couldn't.
I'm not saying that in this specific case. I'm saying generally we do have that conversation, and I don't know, Angie, if we did or did not with Judge Kim. With the court coordinator? That's Mr. Bina? Mr. Bina.
Okay. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Our next item, we're asking, actually, Dr. Pirwani is requesting a double fill as well as a waiver for the ME's office. Mr. Singer is retiring at the end of this month. Pardon me. So related to that retirement, Dr. Pirwani is requesting a double fill for approximately 3 weeks. He has identified an internal staff member who will be moving into this position. And the associated waiver, effective February 1st, we're estimating the cost to the general fund to be approximately $22,600, including fringe benefits.
I move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. So we're going to take an internal position, we're going to move that in, and we're waiving the terminal benefits for Dr. Seeger, who is leaving. Are we then going to be coming back and will that require us to waive
It
terminal
did-
benefits to hire the person who moved up to replacement?
So only if Dr. Pirwani requests that. I'm not even aware of what the where we are in the process. And maybe she's shaking her head no. So the individual who's...
Know that he's not going to
Know
request
that
that,
we
or no,
don't-
she doesn't know?
know that we don't know.
Okay.
So we don't know what the status of the vacated position is, but I can certainly provide the court with that information.
Thank you.
And just for the court's information on this particular one, while the double fill and the waiver of terminal benefits is $35,000, there is a salary savings of about $22,000, so the net difference is about $13,000.
Okay. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
And our final item, we're asking the court to approve a change of the table of organization for the 432nd District Court, as well as the Sheriff's Office. Judge Gonzalez is requesting a transfer of the Deputy Sheriff's position to his table of organization. He'd like his own bailiff, effective 1/12, January 12, and there is no estimated, of course, impact to the general fund. It's simply the transfer of a position.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Vinny, come on down here and talk to us about all this sickness.
We'll do that another time, sir. Good morning, Your Honor, members of the court. Public Health has two items before you for consideration this morning. First one is a request for approval to submit an application to NACHO, which is the National Association of County and City Health Officials, for the 2019 Million Hearts in Municipalities Project Grant Funding.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Second item is a request for approval to submit a letter of commitment to the Community Council of Greater Dallas for support of their 2019 Empowering Older Adults and Adults with Disabilities Through Chronic Disease Self-Management Education Programs grant application. So if they get this grant award, we are committing to help them out with a walking program for seniors.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Okay, so,
Vinny.
You're going to let me get away, right?
As we get into flu season,
Yes, sir.
would you schedule a weekly briefing for the court on where we are and what you think the prognosis is going to be going forward?
Sure thing. I will just make one quick statement. We are in about week 3 of very high flu activity. The trend is following what we saw last year, and it was a very bad year. So reminder to everybody who is listening to take their flu shot. It's not too late. And if you've already had the flu, because I got that question, still take the flu shot, because there are 4 strains that are out there. The vaccine covers 4 strains. You might have gotten one. So get another one. That can happen. So thank you.
Thank you, Vinny.
come on down, Jack. You know, last year when we were about this time, we had somebody in the room that had one of these awful red-looking hats on. But I noticed that she's not wearing a red hat this year. Yeah, y'all rolled last night. That's
God rolled.
And the score was?
44-16. I mean, we were at least sitting at home watching this, I know.
We didn't lose our bowl game.
Is that the toilet bowl?
Didn't have one.
I did make one New Year's resolution to be just as nice to Mr. Early this year as I was last year. But
Well, I was kind of hoping that there'd be somebody from Clemson in the audience, but nobody came in and nobody brought me a hat like Amber brought me last year with this A on it. So at least you were in the game. Or at least you were at the game. I don't know that you were in it, but you were at it.
we have 11 items for your consideration this morning. Our first item is a bid award recommendation for bid 2019-035. This is signing a contract for Tarrant County Record Services. Recommendation be to award the primary, secondary, and alternate vendors as shown in your court communique.
Move approval.
Second.
We have motion and second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Item number 2 is another bid award recommendation for bid 2019-038. This is a bid for the purchase of an offset printing press plus accessories for our reproduction center. Recommendation be to award the low bidder, Mark Andy Print Products, the amount of $87,981.
Move approval.
Second.
We have motion and second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Item number 3 is also a bid award recommendation for bid 2019-042. This is signing a contract for the purchase of tractor and boom mowers for use by all precincts. Recommendation be to award on a per enterprise basis to Bain Machinery of Fort Worth.
Move approval.
Second.
We have motion and second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Item number 4, another bid award recommendation for RFP 2019-044. It's an RFP for electronic medical record support for the public health system upgrade and risk escape implementation.
Move approval.
Second.
We have motion and second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
If we could skip to item number 6, which is also a bid award recommendation for bid 2019-050. This annual contract for the purchase of rifles for the Sheriff's Department. A recommendation be to award on a per enterprise basis, awarding to the primary, secondary, and alternate vendors as shown in your court communique.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. We've had problems. This is not the company that we had
No,
problems
sir,
with.
absolutely not.
This is to replace the rifles that we had
We
got.
had the problem with.
Sick.
Thank you. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Item number 7 is a bid award recommendation for bid 2019-053. This is a new annual contract for laboratory test kits and reagents for clinical testing for the Public Health Department. Our recommendation be to award on a per enterprise basis, awarding to the primary and secondary vendors meeting all specifications as shown in your court communique.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Item number 8, another bid award recommendation for bid 2019-055. This is a bid for the purchase of 2 command pickup trucks for the Fire Marshal's Office. Recommendation would be to award a per enterprise basis, awarding to Sam Pax 5-star Ford.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Item number 9, another bid award recommendation for bid 2019-067, sale of recycled paper. Recommendation would be to award a per enterprise basis to the high bidder, Texas Recycling, who are purchasing our white ledger at $370 per ton.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Number 10, another bid award recommendation for RFQ 2019-034. This request for qualifications for heavy-duty non-consent towing services for the Sheriff's Department. Recommendation to award the 9 vendors as shown in your court communique who are utilized on a rotational basis.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Oh, I guess the question, they're doing it on a rotating basis. I know we don't pay for this. It's paid for by the individuals, but are the prices the same?
Pretty much the same by state statute.
Okay. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Item number 11, another bid award recommendation for a request for qualifications 2019-039. This RFQ is for light and medium duty non-consent towing services. A recommendation would be to award to the 14 vendors, again utilized on a rotational basis.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Last item in regards to bid 2019-058, bid for an annual contract for lift device repair and servicing. We are recommending rejection of the one bid that we received and like to do it again.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Happy New Year.
Thanks, Jack. Commissioner Brooks, I believe you have an interlocal agreement.
With the city of Crowley for various I move approval of whatever the number is, 8N. 1A and B.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Commissioner Johnson?
I have an interlocal agreement with the Fort Worth ISD. Has this been approved by the DA's office?
Yes, Commissioner.
I move approval of item N2A and B.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Are there any appointments today?
Yes, I have one. And then I think I need to be appointed to a few things tonight. Okay. Well, I am honored to appoint a DFW community leader and a Precinct 2 resident, Amanda Arizola, to place 1 on the JPS board, or the Tarrant County Hospital District Board. Aside from Amanda's professional achievements, including working with Catholic Charities of Fort Worth and then serving as the state program director for the Chimes Consortium. She's an alum of UT Austin and Texas Women's, where she has a double master's in business administration and health systems management. And most importantly, she cares very deeply about increasing access to all people. So with that, I make a motion to appoint her.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
Who is she replacing?
Place 1, so that would be Mr. Warren Norrit.
Okay.
Any further discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. I would like to suggest the following, or make the following appointments for the Housing Finance and for our Industrial Development Corporation. I would move that we appoint Commissioner Brooks, Commissioner Fickus, Commissioner Johnson, Commissioner Allen, and myself to serve on each one of those particular corporations.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Are there any other appointments at this point in time? Okay, then you have before you now the claims, including the addendum.
Move approval of the claims, including the addendum.
Second.
A motion is second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Did you have resume?
Oh, I did.
So I'll go ahead and pass that around.
And I might want to revisit appointments after executive session.
Okay. Briefing items, Mr. Manius.
Thank you, Your Honor. Members of the court, we have 2 items to bring to the court this morning on the briefing agenda. The first is the monthly update from the hospital district. Mr. Early is here to address the court at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Manius. Commissioner, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much. When Jack mentioned that he would be as kind to me as he was in 2018, it brought me to tears. I'm taken by Jack's kindness. Thank you, Jack. Such a wonderful man. Want to let y'all know a couple updates. I want to thank you, commissioners, for the extension that you allowed. What that will do, Judge, and your comments are well taken, that it is part of the overall larger picture as we look at expansion. This was done about 8 years ago when it was part of a shelled area that we could look at for expansion of the ED. It will allow for the emergency department to have additional 12 beds, and it currently is a section off of the parking garage. And it's a smart move because as we expand, the expansion would in all likelihood come to that side of the road where you have all your acute care. So it follows well with additional plans depending on where we go and what we do and how we work with the court and what the court suggests on where our expansion plans would be for JPS. But that's a wonderful expansion. And it leads us to the challenge that we and other hospitals are having today. We are at capacity at the hospital today. Many of our colleagues, both at THR and Baylor, are witnessing some of those same things. It is not due to the flu. We are not seeing an increased amount of cases in the emergency department at JPS due to flu. We're actually seeing some of those increases out at our outpatient facilities, which is what we hope, which is what we want, which we can better contend with. So the numbers, to Vinny's comment, is our public health is doing a great job, and that's also, I think, their communication and their effectiveness has helped people come to our clinics rather than go to the emergency room. I have flippantly said, if you want the flu, you can get it, just go to the emergency room at JPS. That's not the best place for people to go if you think you have the flu, because we'll guarantee you'll have it if you do show up. It's a tough place from that standpoint. But the expansion will be of significant help. We've calculated our numbers, and I will get this to you all should any of you want it for your staffs, or if you want it in an email form, or for some, you may want it in a written form. I'm happy to do that and provide that to you in any way. But just to give you an idea, the emergency department saw 115,588 patients this year, in 2018. Our total trauma cases were 2,281 trauma cases.
How does that compare with the previous year?
It's a little bit above. But what we've been able to do, Commissioner, that has been helpful is of those 115,000 or so cases that went to the emergency department, we have an additional 52,700 of those going to urgent care. And that's really effective for JPS, and that's what we've done to help a lot, is get them into the urgent care setting rather than just the ED setting. So our numbers are large, and it's a challenge, and that facility was not built for those kind of numbers, but at least we're trying to do everything we can to get them into urgent care settings. We had 15,000 psychiatric emergency visits during 2018, but I think the thing that is the most powerful is that we had 621,533 individual patients showing up at our clinics throughout Tarrant County. And that's a good
patients?
Patient visits at various times. Now, they may have come back more times than that, but those are the individuals that showed up. And what's powerful about that is that's the right conduit to come into JPS. And that also speaks to the increased effectiveness of our clinics, and it also speaks to the Blue Ribbon Committee's suggestion of 4 more additional clinics as we begin to look at the future. We look at our growth, and we look at where that should be. So I think that a lot of these numbers indicate a lot of what the Blue Ribbon Committee has already begun to identify. And as we pragmatically and methodically go through the aspects of the bond and where we do that and how we make smart choices and how we not only leverage those monies, but we put those monies and those facilities in the proper places for where your patients are. So we'll continue to do that. I'll be happy to do that. In that same regard, we're working feverishly for the new Oncology Cancer Center. Our relationship with Moncrief has only continued to grow. That's a great tribute to UT Southwestern and Dr. Keith Argenbright as we continue to make that a partnership. In addition to that, we've had some very nice communication with Baylor All Saints. That facility is right next to Baylor All Saints. There's a tunnel that connects the two, and I think you'll see a greater partnership between JPS and Baylor Scott and White because of that as well. And that's part of that collaborative effort that, once again, this community has spoken to that we should be doing. And so I think relatively shortly, we'll show you not only those collaborations, but begin to show you expansions that will better help those in the most need, particularly to reduce, as many of you, and certainly Commissioner Brooks has done with some of his outreach programs, so we can reduce those people we see at stage 4 cancer because they haven't seen primary care in such a long time. If we can head that up, that's hugely beneficial. Also, Russell's presentation is quite good. I think his bar or mic level is very according to the fact that he's talented, because we've had some good meetings with Russell, and his intuitive nature to understanding the legislature I think is a plus, but also the fact that he has begun already working with a lot of our legislative delegation on the mental health needs. And we've got to be innovative with mental health. Mental health is not an answer just from the state. It's an answer from all of us in all ways. It's a multi-fabric If the state were to allocate more funds for mental health, we hope that we would have a voice in that so it would go to the proper use, as opposed to just putting up money and doing the right thing. So we're going to work hard at doing that and working with Senator Nelson's office and others. And we have a lot of great members of our delegation here in Tarrant County that want to help mental health. And JPS is pretty much, without saying anything that is not anything but accurate, we are the epicenter for mental health, being the only psychiatric emergency room and with the number of patients that we get. So that number and those fundings should definitely be a voice for JPS. And I appreciate Russell's efforts to try to help not only the county but JPS in that. And we've had a series of meetings to begin to go to that so we can outline that. As I mentioned, I want to compliment Vinny and Public Health. I think their effectiveness at dealing with the flu, which is something that you cannot necessarily deal with other than trying to help when flu is presented. I think our public health department is doing an excellent job, and that's been a huge benefit to JPS because, again, that gets them into those community clinic settings. Commissioner, I understand that, Commissioner Allen, I understand that you've been quite busy, and I wanted you to at least have the opportunity to deal with some of the tough decisions you had to make as a new member of the court. But when you find it appropriate, we'd be happy to have you and any new staff members that you have that come by compliment you on your appointment today, and very much look forward to working with her. And I'll reach out to her and suggest any briefing or orientation that she might need so she can be as effective as possible from day one. And we'll be happy to do that, as well as anything that you or your staff would need. We welcome you and think it will be a nice relationship. So thank you all very much. I'm happy to answer any questions that y'all have or anything else.
I don't have a question, but I will add that I look forward to visiting JPS. It's been maybe a few years since the last time I visited, and then at that time it was in the role as a house staffer. But I have my very first rotation as an EMT during my training at JPS. I could not have been more frightened that night. It was a 24-hour rotation. I consumed a lot of coffee. I learned a lot, like literally within the first hour, and I just tried to make sure I didn't get lost. So, yeah.
I'm not sure I can help you with the lost part, but the EMT side of it will be cautious on your tour not to provide PTSD for you. Okay. So we'll do everything we can. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you.
Finally, members of the court, we have a presentation. It's County Clerks Get Healthy Initiative 2018. Ms. Nicholson is here to address the court.
Good morning.
Morning.
Thank you all for letting me come up here and kind of brag a little bit about my team and what we're doing. Thank you. In 2018, the court talked about health and the cost and the rising costs. Judge Whitley, you talked about that, and it resonated with me, and I thought, you know what, as a leader of one of the bigger departments, we can do something about this. So in 2018, I sat with my chief deputy and said, can we change this culture? Can we make us more healthy? Can we work with Amber and HR to make that happen? So for 1 year, we ran different challenges, and I'm here to brag about our results and what our management did and what our team did and how we try to create this culture of healthiness and kind of talk about the highlights of that. So when we're measuring our success, we did this program in a full year. We were able to work with Amber and make that happen. We looked to her for guidance and the giveaways and things like that. And we created participation. We had team building. We had individual departments. And we recognized individual achievements. We recognized the teams that got together. And we were in a year to be able to create kind of some healthy habits. So I want to talk about those. We had 18 challenges, and we focus on exercise, nutrition, and weight loss. So every month in Challenge Runner, we would send out a challenge and say, can you join us? So the wellness, it was kind of a holistic approach from 8 to 5 or 7:30 to 4:30. We asked them and put out challenges. Can you make healthy choices? Can you participate in different activities during the work hours while we have you here into your daily routines? We introduced technology. We had Fitbits. We told them you can use, different things to monitor and do steps and things like that. Of course, we had the incentives, the different prizes that Amber gave, and we're upping our ante this year to make things a little more exciting for our clerks. So we will go to some of the challenges. So here's some of the ones we did every month. Get healthy. how many steps can you take? Circle the county. We walked every individual department, every building in Tarrant County and made sure we gathered our steps there. We did push-up challenges. We did flights of stairs. We bought bands for your legs to do exercises there, and you got points in Challenge Runner. We asked them to drink 64 ounces of water one month. Then we upped it to 100. Everybody was running to the bathroom on a regular basis. But I will say, a lot of people have now adopted drinking 64 ounces of water and 100 a day. I know I've hit that. 10K a day, 10,000 steps a day in September. We had the biggest weight loss. Everybody pitches in $10. We added a little more and we did our weight loss. Biggest loser, water. The last 2 months, or the last month in December, we raced Santa around the world. And he beat us pretty bad, but we ended up doing 25,000 steps or something around the world. So we did that. So here are kind of the results. Over a year, with our clerk challenges, you jumping in with what we sponsored, we lost 227 pounds. But you know what? Some of those clerks decided, I don't want to be part of that. I want to do my own. They lost 313 pounds. So in the county clerk office, we lost 540 pounds. That's the equal weight.
It's like 4 little people running around.
Well, if you look at it, the fact it equals the weight of 12-foot alligators. I mean, this is what we did. We did 977 hours of exercise. That's listening to Eye of the Tiger 15,000 times. We consumed 2,927 gallons of water. Yeah, that's the same amount as 31,000 cans of soda that we decided over a year, can we promote this? Can we help our clerks make better decisions? And they did. 7,916 servings of fruit, vegetables, and protein that people jumped in our initiatives and our challenges and said, I'm tracking this, I'm tracking that. That's 791 daily servings of fruit, vegetable, and protein. We did 5,400 flights of stairs, 155 trips to the top of the Statue of Liberty, climbing to the top of the world's tallest building. I don't even know how to say that, Clint. There you go, 33.5 times. We walked 27,000 miles. When we added it up and divided it by our employees, that's 6.5 marathons per county clerk employee over a year that we promoted and did. We did 52,000 push-ups, and out of acknowledgement for my Marine over here, we did a battalion of Marines doing 57 push-ups, and the commissioners and the county judge doing 10,000 each. So, so I just wanted to weigh in and say, Amber's done a great job. Judge Whitley, you talk about health and you say we need to watch our, money and insurance and things like that. At the county clerk office, we're committed to this culture change. We're kicking it off again this year, and we're just going to make it an environment where you can be healthy, you can drink water, you can walk, and we will reward you one way or another. The chief and I will make that happen. So this month we've got Dump Your Rump and Mission Slim Possible. So we are all on a weight loss thing, and I just want to say thank you for your time. I'm proud of my team, and we are doing our part to stay healthy. Thank you.
Very good.
I really want to compliment you on doing that, and I really hope that all the folks in the county will look in their departments and their areas about, possibly creating challenges along these lines. It's, last year we had a pretty good year in our health program. And I really believe that the more we will stay focused on it individually as well as collectively, the better we can do. And folks, we're self-insured. So if we can cut those costs, then that will come through in the premiums that you're paying and that the county is paying for that health insurance. And so I really want to strongly encourage you to do things like this. Work with Amber. Figure out things that you can do in your department. And let's continue this type and being proactive, not only in our health and in the activities that we do, but I would also encourage each one of you to be more proactive as, in those times when you do have to visit the doctor or when you do have to do something, look at the benefits that we offer. during the holidays, I was coughing a bunch, and so I decided to call the nurse line. Well, I was able to call the nurse line with no cost. I could have gone to a virtual doctor and probably wished I had versus the urgent care facility that I went to. It would have been a lot less cost. It would have been $40 versus $161. So look at what the county offers, become more familiar with what the county offers, take advantage of the opportunities I think that we give you, and become more responsible for your own health and your own well-being. So again, Mary Louise, thank you very much for your efforts and for your department's efforts in really trying to live that goal of being healthier and living healthier. Anything else, Mr. Maines?
That's all we have at this time, Your Honor.
Then we will recess our open meeting and proceed to close to discuss items exempted under Section 551.
Are we on?
Yes, we're ready.
Having returned from our closed session, we'll now address the following items.
We have appointments that we wanted to revisit. I think we may have two pending appointments. One to
Yes, and they're both the judges.
IT Steering Committee and one to TRTC.
Right, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to appoint Commissioner Allen as the co-chair of the IT Steering Committee, to the Tarrant Regional Transportation Coalition Executive Committee, it's Tarrant County's rep, and also as the Regional Transportation Council alternate for, we have to do that in order so that if Commissioner Fickus or I are not there, then at that point in time, in order to be able to sit in that body, you have to have been nominated as the alternate. So I'll make those nominations.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
That's all we have at this time, Your Honor.
Then there being no further business, we're adjourned, and congratulations, you made it through the first meeting.
Thank you.
And you've got portfolio.